But yeah, I think it's been kind of interesting to just chat with people even while you're out, like asking us because most of us travel in groups. So it's just our whole team coming into a coffee shop or
Yes. Who are
something.
you guys?
Yeah. So being able to just chat and kind of talk to each person about what we're doing here.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Friendlies. I'm Sam Ewis, and today I'm joined here on the show by one of the NWSL's most talented young players. Last year, she burst onto the scene in her first professional season, winning the championship with Gotham, NWSL's Rookie of the Year, and U.S. Soccer's Young Female Player of the Year. She's a defender who brings grit and tenacity to every single tackle, as well as a sense of maturity to the back line. It's Gotham's own Lilly Reale. Lilly, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for the introduction. That was awesome. Yeah, I appreciate it.
This episode of Friendlies is brought to you by Verizon, a proud supporter of the global game and the players who inspire us on and off the pitch. As an official sponsor of the FIFA World Cup 2026, Verizon is honored to help share the stories of the world's top players, including the incredible women who are changing the game at every level. Stay tuned for more on how Verizon can get you connected to the game we love. Just a quick note before we get into Lilly. This episode was recorded on Tuesday, before Gotham lost their FIFA Champions Cup semifinal to Corinthians on Wednesday. I was really bummed that Gotham lost, but they've got a long season ahead and a lot of trophies left to play for. All right, everybody, here is Lilly Reale. Well, this is your second time with the women's game because you did join us in Boston at a live show just before the holidays. Where are you coming to us from today?
Today I'm in London. Yes, so an amazing city. Happy to be here, and this is my first time. It's been great. A little cloudy, but can't complain.
I feel like that's pretty typical for London. I know that before this, you guys were in Spain.
Mm-hmm.
And this is like such a unique preseason for you guys. You got together really early in January. You've been in Europe for weeks. How has that been? What have you been doing for fun?
Yeah, I think it's been really cool because obviously we returned a lot of the team from last year. So it was good to get back with the girls. The chemistry's there. So being able to just hang out as friends off the field, and then also for it to all kind of look the same as last year so early on is super exciting. But yeah, definitely a rare and very quick off season, but happy to be back with everyone. Really can't complain. I love all the girls and the coaches, so it's been good.
Good. Well, I'm glad to hear that. I did just want to quickly update you on a few things you've missed in the New England area. We got a huge snowstorm over the weekend. Did you hear all about that?
Yes, my parents were sending me pictures. Our backyard is like completely buried. We live close to the water, so there's like a road and then some dunes, and the dunes are completely covered. You can't even see the water anymore. It's crazy.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So definitely got hit hard by that. But amidst the snowstorm, the Patriots made it to the Super Bowl.
I know. I am so excited. Yeah. I mean,
Oh
we're
my gosh.
spoiled, honestly, in the Boston area, but I'm so excited to watch that, and against the Seahawks, which will be a little nostalgic.
Yeah, you can say that again. Okay, so fun. I'm gonna have to like refresh myself. I have not been watching the Patriots very much lately, but you know what? We're back, baby. So
I know.
Okay, all right. We got all our Boston stuff
Yes.
out of the way. I want to come back to where you guys are right now with Gotham. You're in London right now because you're training for the FIFA Women's Champions Cup, which is a tournament made up of the best clubs from around the world. We're going to get into some more of the details later. But because Gotham players had this kind of extra tournament early on in the season, none of you guys are in camp with the U.S. Women's National Team right now. And I'm wondering if you've been able to keep up at all. I know the games are probably on like in the middle of the night there. What have you made so far of the national team's camp?
I was able to watch a little bit right before bed of their first game. Obviously, one of my close friends, Raylan Turner, she made her debut. So couldn't be more excited. And yeah, I was just very eager to watch that. And obviously she scored. So just such an amazing debut. And I was really happy for her. But yeah, I thought the team looked great. I thought the second half looked a lot better, but I was just happy to see everyone, coming back in from off season, be able to show up in that way and put out a great performance.
Yeah, for sure. Also, our fellow Massachusetts native Allie Sentnor scored a brace.
Heck
I'm
yeah.
curious what it feels like for you to watch, close friends like you mentioned, Raylan Turner, Allie Sentnor. What does it feel like to watch them have success kind of from afar? Like normally you'd be in there in camp with them. So what was that like to kind of see it from a distance?
It kind of made it more special in that way because You can't obviously be there to have those conversations and hear about all the nerves. So being able to text them and just really see how they're doing, coming off of the off season, especially for Raylan, just being it being her debut, it was interesting to see, how she was feeling and how excited she was, but also, these are the things you dream of. So to have a debut and to be able to score, she was just recapping it after the game. I didn't see it till the
Oh,
morning because obviously it was pretty late here, but
yeah.
yeah, it's always just super fun to, not only see how the crowd interacts with the US team, but also just all of these newer players and older players being able to still carry the torch on, and some new captains, things like that was just
Yeah.
super fun to watch.
Yeah, super exciting. Okay, I'm going to zero in now on you a little bit. Obviously, you're coming off this incredible rookie season, one of the best ones I can think of in recent history. So this time last year, you had just gotten signed to Gotham, fresh out of UCLA, which is also where I went. Me and Lily have a lot in common. You're coming into the NWSL the first year the league doesn't have a draft. When I was coming out of college, maybe the NWSL was a little bit more like uncertain, and there was that sense of uncertainty in like the strength of the league. And I feel like for players in your year, the league felt really stable, but you were among this first group of players to experience this level of uncertainty that where there's no draft. What was that like for you when it came to deciding where you wanted to play?
It's so fortunate to have been able to, have a bit of a say in where you're going and have interest from a couple different teams. Yeah, I think it was definitely something that was both exciting but also nerve-wracking, because it does feel like it's a little bit more on you to, pick a team that's gonna make the most sense for you, whether that is off the field or on the field, different factors that go into it. But I think having the autonomy to have a little bit of a say and a decision in your future just was really exciting for me for the most part.
Yeah, and what was it about Gotham specifically that stood out to you and made you certain about going there?
For me, I was lucky to have been able to train with them a little bit my senior year, my summer going into my senior year, actually. So being able to come down here, obviously, it's kind of close to home. So I can't say that that's not definitely something that's an added plus. I think I really liked the environment and the quality of the trainings when I was able to visit. Obviously, the teammates and coaches play a big part in that, but things change, so that's not something that you can really look at, I feel like. But just the culture in general, I think, was something that stood out to me. Being able to see how the girls and the coaches interact with one another. It was very free flowing, and just felt like a fun environment to be in. That definitely stood out to me, along with just being able to learn from the back line, knowing how many stars are in this team and on this back line. I was just excited, even my first year, not knowing if I was going to play or not, but knowing that I was going to learn so much from the back line in general. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, some of the players you're playing with back there in that group, obviously Emily Sonnet, Jess Carter,
Hmm.
and Katrine Berger, Tierna Davidson when she's back healthy.
Right.
It's such an amazing group. And it's actually kind of crazy to hear you say you didn't know how much you were going to play because you've become such a standout player for this team. You won Rookie of the Year. I do hate to bring this up, but I feel like this is going to be a story that like is part of your almost like identity as a player because it speaks so much to your resilience. And one of the very first moments for you as a pro, you actually scored an own goal.
Hmm.
And I don't need to hear anything about the own goal itself. I really just want to hear how you mentally recovered in your first game from a mistake like that to go on and then continue to play really well.
Yeah, I think honestly it goes into, like I've said, the relationships that I've been able to make on this team, and just learning from the players around me, feeling really comfortable going and leaning on them. So in that moment, obviously I was still kind of new on the team, but and for it to be one of my first start in the NWSL was definitely a tough moment to really rationalize and just conceptualize in the moment. But I honestly laugh about it now, just thinking back on, I say this all the time, but my whole family was there. Like, I think I had like a party bus of family that
Oh,
came. So it was like 30 people and I could hear them all. But even more special was to just like look around and take it all in after the own goal and just kind of really realize that I haven't even had, a second. It was 2 minutes in. So I hadn't even had a second to really look around and see like all of the fans who had come out. Yeah, I really can't speak more highly of the players that were around me, even the fans too, to just pick me up out of that moment, because I'm definitely someone in college who, if I made a major mistake, would get in their head and kind of shut down a little bit and maybe just play safe the rest of the game. But after that play, just being able to talk to some of my teammates and them saying like, "Hey, I mean, it's really unfortunate, but it happens to everyone. So,
Yeah.
like, let's talk about it later, but just keep playing the way you're playing and like it'll be fine." So, I think really just being able to compartmentalize in that moment and just continue to play like they were saying and not dwelling on it really helped me. But yeah, there were definitely some tears after the game, but we bounced back, so it's okay.
Well, you bounced back in the best way. I remember thinking, watching that moment, I was so amazed at your resilience to come back and have a strong performance afterwards. And I remember actually speaking to Rose Lavelle about it. Rose loves you so much, by the way.
She's awesome.
And she was just like, obviously, Lily was upset, but she handled it like such a pro. And she even said that you had a moment in the locker room after where you maybe had some tears in your eyes, but you tried to just be like, yep, I've got it. It's okay. And
Yes.
trying to
Yes.
just come around to be positive about it again. It's like you will encounter situations like that again in your career. And knowing that you've already handled it is incredible and will serve you so well. So I just wanted to like, I guess, commend you for it. I
I
think
appreciate that.
it's
Thank
such
you.
a difficult thing to kind of have and have some random podcast host bringing it up a year later.
I don't mind at all, seriously. I feel like this is very New England, like Boston, but just like being able to kind of like shrug it off and then laugh about it now, like it definitely takes some time, but I think like now I'm kind of just like, I mean, yeah, it's what happened, unfortunately, and I'm glad it wasn't the end of the ride there, but
Well, no. And I think that I will just say so many other things are going to come to define you as a player. Not only did you rebound from that mistake in that game, but you went on to be a leader for Gotham in interceptions. You were responsible for the second most tackles you played in every game. Your performance on the back line led you to become a regular face for the U.S. Women's National Team. How did it feel to kind of make that transformation throughout the year and step up to being such a huge part of Gotham's defense?
yeah, I think it was one that didn't come naturally. It was something that was really hard, and I feel like I definitely was so lucky to have the people around me, like I keep saying, to be able to lean into for advice. And even throughout my first couple starts, I was still in this headspace of just a lot of anxiety, different nerves, and it felt like I really had to step into, you know, what do I want this season to look like for me? And do I want it to be, defined by just getting the hang of this entire thing, or do I want to, really step up and make an impact for my team? So, really just tried to quickly adapt to, the style that we were playing. And obviously playing against some of these top forwards is no easy task in the NWSL, but it was definitely one that I, was exposed a couple times, but also learned so much from. So I feel like throughout this entire year, I've definitely kind of experienced a roller coaster of different emotions, but one that I'm really, really proud of and just happy to reflect on now.
For sure. I mean, I think that, Gotham obviously had some ups and downs throughout the season, but I think one thing that was really consistent was kind of your stinginess at the back. Like, even when things weren't going perfectly, you guys really maintained a strong back line. And I'm wondering if you think maybe there's something about the mentality of your Gotham back line that you feel brings out the best in you.
We pride ourselves in even being kind of just defined by, the grittiness, the, aggressiveness and the quick style. But then again, also just really working for one another. I think that's something that I see every game, whether it's a forward making a, 100-yard sprint back, or defenders, getting on the end of balls to then set our forwards up. I think it just shows itself in so many different ways, but it's one that I feel like I've definitely taken from college and taken it up a notch, I guess, at this level, just because of how much it's demonstrated around me on my team every day in practice and in the games.
Yeah, I love that about your Gotham team. I think to, go through everything you guys went through and to just go on this like incredible run at the end of the season to win the NWSL championship was such a great showcase of that mentality to kind of represent what our league is all about. It's this like when you get good at the right time, you can just go on and win the whole thing. And that's what makes like playoffs so fun. I
Mhm.
think that kind of attitude, that mentality in Gotham's like real spirit is something that will set you apart, hopefully, in this inaugural FIFA Women's Champions Cup that you're participating in right now. You're up against teams from Morocco, England, and Brazil. How would you describe this tournament to somebody who may not know exactly what it is?
An interesting one because it's so unique in that it's its first of its kind right now. So I'm excited really to see how this tournament takes off in the future. But I think as of right now, being able to see, one team represent each continent is just such an incredible feeling for each team that's in it. So I think for Gotham, it always just feels funny being able to, represent our continent and coming out here and hopefully getting the job done. But I think it's going to be such an awesome display of so much top talent. And I'm just excited to see, how each team shows up because everyone's in a different place throughout their season. But, this is definitely the time to show up. So I'm excited to see, what plays are made and just hopefully, us being able to showcase who we are at a global level.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it's such a cool opportunity to play other top teams from around the world. I know it's something the fans ask about a lot, like how would our best team do against England's best team? And just for people, who maybe don't know exactly what this tournament is, if you remember last year during the NWSL season, while Gotham was on their journey to winning the NWSL championship, they were also competing against other clubs from CONCACAF. You guys won that trophy in May when you played against the Mexican club Tigres, and you got your spot then in this tournament, which has now been whittled down to the final four teams, each representing another regional confederation from around the world. So by the time this episode comes out on Thursday, you will have played Corinthians from Brazil. I think that sometimes with the introduction of these new tournaments, it takes some time and maybe like some convincing to get players and fans to be like, yes, this is the tournament. This one really matters. Like, I don't know if you'll remember, Lily, but the Challenge Cup, originally we were kind of like, is this important? Like, does this matter? And I think it's gained some credibility over the years. But one thing that definitely gives like, some good weight to this one is the prize money, $2.3 million to the winning team. Talk to me about what this means to Gotham. Like, how are you guys talking about this tournament and how important is it to you?
Yeah, I think on one end of the spectrum, it's great prep for, us going into a new season pretty soon. But at the same time, it's not, a preseason tournament. It's not friendlies. It's very competitive games. And like you said, there's, a trophy and a lot of prize money on the line and just really pride and credibility at that same point. I think for Gotham, it means more just being able to represent the NWSL and hopefully showing up in a big way so that we can promote more fans and even just credibility, being able to take down some of these top global opponents and clubs. I think would be an incredible honor, and I'm just really happy to be in the first one. I think it will be so much fun, but like I said, I'm really excited to just see how this tournament then shapes itself and takes off for years to come.
For sure. I love that. I think all of these tournaments, pros and cons to everything, different times in the season. Obviously, the calendar's really busy, but I think that it's showing that there's an appetite and there's eyeballs that are going to be watching, and women's football is growing in so many different ways.
Right.
Coming off of winning the NWSL championship, that was at the end of November. You had this kind of quick off season, and knowing all these teams in this tournament are at different phases in their seasons, how would you say Gotham is like feeling readiness wise to go into competitive games right now, end of January?
Obviously, the off season is an important period, being able to rest, even just physically and emotionally. I think Gotham has done a great job at prioritizing, but at the same time, we just had to come back a little bit earlier, being in Spain. We've been in London now for a week, but Spain before that for about 2.5 weeks, being able to just, time out the loading and prep a little bit more with trainings. We played against Bayern Munich and then Haken. So 2 very awesome games. We were able to just rotate through everyone on the team. So it was just a great introduction to hopefully an amazing tournament. But yeah, I think our team's feeling good, and it was a pretty quick off season. So I think being able to manage your bodies in that way was important. But I think everyone's talking about just feeling really good coming in because it wasn't too much time off where you have to, think about how am I going to now approach this build in. Gotham has kind of timed that out for us by adding in that Spain segment. So that has, really helped.
Yeah, I just have a couple more questions about this tournament, but before I do, you're saying you've been on the road now for what will be 3-4 weeks. Are you looking forward to anything in particular when you get back to the States? Like, do you miss like any food, or like what do you miss?
You know what? I will actually say that the food has been great here. I think
Yeah, I can
being
imagine.
able to, like try different foods and even just like different dinners. I know some of the girls on my team went to a proper Sunday roast in London. So that
Love.
seemed cool. It looked really good too. Really heard only good things. But yeah, I'm definitely missing some of the like pizza in New York. Even
Yeah.
just really the snow. I know that sounds crazy, but being able to see some of the snow fall down instead of the rain here in London, I think would be fun.
Yeah, well, I think it's safe to say the snow will still be here when you get back.
Yeah,
There's
no,
there's a
I'm sure it
lot
will.
there's a lot of snow. Okay, just a couple more questions, Lily. Obviously, Arsenal is a part of this tournament as well. So I wanted to ask you about your US Women's National Team teammate and fellow outside back, Emily Fox. As kind of a younger outside back yourself, what are some things that you admire about Foxy's game?
Yeah, I think she's someone who is so threatening because of how dynamic she is, especially in the attack. I mean, she's so steady on defense, but I think in the attack, she just offers a layer of versatility that you don't really see a lot in many outside backs. So I really just admire, the ways that she can either over underlap, kind of get involved in the attacking third without fear. Is definitely something that I'm trying to work on, but I think she's just such a great role model in that way and a person to watch. So it's been awesome being able to see her have so much success, but also just, her as a person is someone that's so kind and fun loving. So it's been great getting to watch her on the field and just talk to her off the field.
Yeah, that's amazing. Okay, the other thing that we've gotten to see from you specifically, Lily, is that you've been doing like some of the press events in the media for this FIFA Champions Cup
Yes.
for Gotham.
Mhm.
I've loved seeing it. I saw you like in a car. I saw you like by the bridge. It looks like you met Arsenal's Olivia Smith, who's a great young Canadian player. Does it feel like the tournament has like caught some buzz in London? Do you think it's going to be a good atmosphere at the games?
Yeah, I think they've done a good job, especially this week. They had some taxis with the tournament's faces on it. So I think Jaden Shaw was on the Gotham one. I saw a couple different players on each. Yeah, we got to do some media, just kind of sit down with different networks and obviously take some photos in front of the bridge, which was awesome. But yeah, I think it's been kind of interesting to just chat with people even while you're out, like asking us because most of us travel in groups. So it's just our whole team coming into a coffee shop or
Who are
something.
you guys?
Yeah. So being able to just chat and kind of talk to each person about what we're doing here. I'm hoping that some of them even decide to show up. But yeah, even around the hotel and stuff, it's been fun just like chatting with people about the tournament and kind of the origins of it, but also just hearing their thoughts about each stadium that we're playing at and how it's going to be a really fun atmosphere.
That's so awesome. How are you enjoying that side of like professional soccer interviews, press events? Like, does it get to you ever? Do you enjoy it?
That's kind of like one of my goals throughout this year, just being able to like appreciate the press and the media and not take so much stress and anxiety into it. I think I'm definitely someone who's outgoing, so being able to kind of see it more as a conversation and less as like a sit down interview is like definitely something I'm shifting into, but yeah, I think it's been fun so far. Definitely taken some time to get more comfortable, but yeah, it's been fun.
That's really great. That's a great goal to have, I think, and the media will be very excited to hear that you're open to things. And we obviously really, really appreciate all of your time. This is my last question, Lilly. Looking beyond this tournament this weekend, you'll return to the US. You'll continue preparing for the rest of the NWSL season, and your season opener is in Boston against the Boston Legacy. So I just want to hear about the opportunity to play professional games in front of your friends and family in Massachusetts starting this year in 2026.
Yeah, I am like so excited. When I saw that on the schedule, I was ecstatic, honestly. I
Me
texted
too.
all of, yeah, my family, and just being able to, kind of figure out plans. It seems like it will be a similar situation to my debut of a party bus or people going and tailgating early, I'm sure. So I'm just excited to have like a lot more friends and family at that one.
Yeah, that will be awesome. I'm so excited too. I have the date March 14th circled on my calendar. I feel very lucky. Like, obviously Boston Legacy is my hometown team, but Gotham kind of has a lot of my friends on it. So
Yes, exactly.
I'm really, really looking forward to that. I'm also looking forward to watching you this weekend with Gotham. So best of luck. And thank you again so much for doing this. It was so fun.
Yes, of course. I appreciate it. It was a lot of fun.
Thank you all so much for listening. Lilly is so great, and I definitely get a sense of familiarity, like we're from the same place when I talk with her. Even though Gotham will be playing in the third place game instead of the final for Champions Cup, I'm still excited to watch this team this weekend. Before we let you go, we've got our linked up voicemail of the week presented by Verizon. Each week, we want to hear from you. So call and leave us a voicemail at 855-611-4050, and you may be featured on a future episode of Friendlies. Here's our caller this week.
Hey, Sam. This is Ellie from Portland. Go Thorns. My question for you is about the USWNT camp that just happened. Obviously, it was a lot of younger players, so I want to know who stood out to you from this camp. Love the show. Thanks so much. Bye.
Hey, Ellie, thank you so much for calling in, and such a great question. It was a really interesting camp. I think besides the obvious answers here, like Trinity Rodman and Claire Hutton, who kind of always stand out to me, they're just feeling like such staples of this team. Some other players who stood out to me were Emma Sears, who just seems to always score goals. She's so dangerous. I knew she was going to score. I really love watching Emma Sears play. I also thought Jamise Joseph was dominant up top against Chile. She kept turning her defenders on a dime and just was really bringing something unique to that 9 position. And then I also noticed Riley Jackson's willingness and kind of eagerness to get on the ball, and I really appreciated her assist to Trinity. It was fun to get the chance to see so many of these young players really take their opportunity this camp, but I have to say I'm also excited to see some of the veterans back in camp at She Believes. Ellie, I loved this question. Thank you so much for calling in. That was our linked up voicemail of the week presented by Verizon. So if you want to join us for this segment, the banana phone is open. You can give me a call at 855-611-4050. Just leave a message, ask me a question, and then you could be the next featured listener thanks to our friends at Verizon. If you haven't already, please make sure you're subscribed to this YouTube channel or podcast feed. We've got an episode of Newest Squared dropping tomorrow, and we'll be back next week with lots more. Thank you all so much for listening, and we'll see you soon.